Welcome to this week's Perfect News Analysis program. I'm Vineet Wahi. First of all, let me request you to please subscribe to our channel. Now friends, this time we are again going to take up both the international and the national issues. International issue, of course, it continues to remain Kabul. While back home on the domestic front, this time we are going to take up the issue of education. Let us begin with education, friends. Now, we have a new education policy announced by the Modi government with much fanfare. But the fact remains, when the Modi government came into power way back in 2013-14, at that time, about 4.14% of the GDP was used to be spent on the education sector. Same has now currently come down to 3%. That means a whopping 1.5% cut on education budget. This is despite the fact that the government says we have a new education policy. Well, how it is going to affect us and what will be its implication? Number one, new education policy means the cut on the education budget means that the youngsters who are willing to be engineers, doctors, professionals in different fields, they will not be able to get the training in those respective areas. That would hamper the developmental activity. Now the point is, while on one hand we can spend so much on infrastructure like roads, power, everything, blah 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 blah, fine. But who are the people who are going to run those things? It is the people, trained people. Now in the absence of trained people, how would the industry survive? How will they work? Where will the development activity take place? So this is why I am saying the government of the day must ensure that it does not cut on the education budget. Rather, it should increase it. And more so now that it has announced the new education policy. See, let us not forget, this year in 2021-22, the budget for education is 93.224 crore, which is about 6,000 crore less than what it was last year. Similarly, schools education gets 54,873 crore, which is again less than 4,971 crore than the previous, that is last year's budget. At the same time, higher education gets 1,000 crore cut. So what does it mean? As I've already said, this is definitely going to have implications on the job opportunities, on the higher skills, on the trained skills of our youngsters, as I said. And if that happens, industries will not get experienced, trained people, which is what they want for the overall development of the country. So my point is, the government of the day must ensure that instead of cutting the budget on education, they should rather double it. Fine, that is one thing. At the same time, I must add here, the government of the day has been emphasizing repeatedly on Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. But the most unfortunate part of it is that in the current budget, I'm saying only 1 crore has been given for this purpose, whereas the previous year it was 110 crore. It's a whole big gap of about 100%. Why? Government is saying because of the corona we have budget constraints. Agreed. But there are certain important things, certain important sectors which must not be touched in terms of slashing the budget. So that is one thing. At the same time, friends, we are going to take up the issue of Kabul, that is Afghanistan. The ongoing crisis in Afghanistan, as I have said earlier, do not augur well for the India, especially from the strategic point of view. China, Pakistan, they have already made it clear that they are going to have alignment with Kabul. Taliban says they are welcome. Now what will happen? This would mean, as I am saying, this would mean that there might be some problem for our country from strategic point of view, from defense point of view on our western borders, that is Jammu and Kashmir and Punjab. So that is one thing. Secondly, we are going to lose heavily in terms of money because, as I said earlier also, we have invested so much in the basic infrastructural activities in Afghanistan. Anyway, that is not important because we have always believed in people-to-people cooperation. We had friendly relations with the previous government. But here, the most important thing is that from defense point of view, from the strategic point of view, it is very important that we have some kind of a system whereby we are able to protect our borders, that is the western borders, clearly and with full strength. That is why I am saying that we will have to be on guard. We will have to be very, very cautious. Thank you.